Hi, everybody. Welcome to TCCW Live. We are here today with Coach Melanie. And if you haven't come across her yet or seen her content, you should definitely stop by and give her a look. And as of now, Melanie, welcome so much. And thank you for coming on today. How are you doing?
I'm good, Selena. Thank you so much for having me. It's a great community to be a part of. And yeah, I've been looking forward to doing this interview with you.
Awesome. Me too. Me too. So, if you will, tell us a little bit, how did you end up in the carnivore space? Because as we all know, nobody just trips and falls and becomes carnivore. So
This is true. Yes. Um, Actually, I came to Carnivore looking for um, something for weight loss. I spent a career in law enforcement. I was always I was college athlete. I was healthy. I was always in shape. Felt like I ate right. I was kind of already not really a big carb person, but as years went on, let's say closer to my 40s, mid 40s, 50s, I was having some injuries. I had a bunch of surgeries. And so I really kind of got sedentary. I gained a lot of weight. And I had kind of tried every bit of fad dieting that you could think of. And, I'm thinking to myself, gosh, why am I the athlete, and worked in law enforcement? Why am I looking for fad diets? Because I never really had an issue with kind of weight and muscle and things like that. So um, at some point, 2016, I retired. From that point on, I had several surgeries. I had a back surgery in 2018, so things kind of even got worse after that.
wow.
Some other surgeries. So it kind of started making me look around. And I had a friend of mine, a former trainer coach in college, found me on Facebook, and he started sending me stuff about carnivore. And I was like, well, kind of like, what's that? And I looked at it and I thought, kind of swipe left on it. Didn't really pay much attention to it. And probably
Yeah.
like a few weeks later, I don't know what the time frame was, he sent it to me again. So finally I said, all right, let me message him. I said, okay, what's going on with this carnivore thing? He goes, well, it's with people that only eat meat. And I'm like, oh, heck no, I don't want any part of that. What do you mean just eat meat, right? No carbs, no bread, no pasta, kind of thing. So
Yeah.
I swiped left again, and then at some point he must have sent it again or something. And I thought, maybe I should just take a look at this whole thing. Now, by this time, before I started Carnivore in January 3rd, 2022. But in the meantime of all that, I had breast cancer back in 2014. I had a melanoma back in 2020, 1920. So there was a lot of things that were happening to my body that I thought, I just don't want to have cancer again. And I'm thinking, why me? Somebody who I thought was so healthy, in shape, young, you know, why is this happening? So I started going down the rabbit hole and joined a Facebook group. I think it was Carnivore for Beginners, and I started seeing, Dr. Ken Berry, Sally K. Norton, Sean Baker. And then on Instagram, I ended up seeing Bella. And then I could kind of watch a lot of her stuff. And then finally I decided, well, I'm going to message her. Well, she messaged me back and I'm like, wow, oh my gosh, Bella messaged me back. So, I asked her questions and just kind of gathering information. And then we chatted for a little while. And then somehow I ran into a video with Raymond and Emily, with both of their transformations, right? And I thought,
Mhm.
gosh, I think I could do this. I want to be like that. So that's kind of how it started. So I reached out. I got a hold of Raymond. I was going to start coaching with Raymond in 2021, but I got COVID in September. And so the thought of me even trying to eat meat or trying to change anything, I just said, you know what, let's just start in January. Let me just get through this, and we'll go from there. So that's kind of how my journey started. I was really looking for something to make me metabolically healthy and to prevent me, or to at least keep me as far away from any diseases, cancers, anything like
Right.
that I could possibly have. So that was really what brought me to Carnivore. I never felt better in my life. I'm so glad that I have done this. Like I said, it was my 4-year Carnivore anniversary was January 3rd of this year.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And so I started too with the Steak and Butter Gang. That's how I started. Moved in with them. Pretty much was with them a solid 2 years, and then kind of started doing things on my own. But in that meantime, started going through a lot of meetups, meeting people online, connecting with people. Popped back in and out of Steak and Butter Gang, talked with the group, the coaches, Bella, and so forth. And finally, Bella and I met in person on a cruise that at least Dr. Lisa Wiederman did almost 2 years ago, or might even be over 2 years now. But we had a great time. It was great to meet her in person for the first time. I felt like I knew her already because we had been in the gang for so long.
Right.
So then after that, I went to Meatstock, and at Meatstock, that's when we saw each other again, and she formally invited me to be a part of the Steak and Butter Gang team. So since May of last year, it'll almost be a year this year, that's what I've been doing. So helping monitor and helping bring people along with their journeys in this carnivore crazy cult that we live in.
Right. That is really awesome. That is absolutely awesome. And definitely it's a fun thing to get to be a part of an actual like community movement, like to just help initiate that, help push things, help guide things. Definitely talking along those lines as we have James here, who is our moderator for our group in TCCW. And we couldn't survive without him, that's for sure, because he keeps
James.
things rocking and rolling for sure.
James is awesome. Hi, James.
Hey, what's up? Thank you for the kind words. And Melanie, I think it's awesome that you just literally last night graduated from the Carnivore Coaching International.
Yeah, I got some more work to do, modules and things, and continue learning. But yeah, I'm on my way. So it was tough. I told Peter in the beginning I wasn't sure if I could actually do it, but I buckled down, and I had some help within the TCCW community, which was really nice. So kind of helped push me along a little bit, and yeah, I got it done, and now I can kind of relax and focus on more learning and kind of being able to let things kind of sink in.
Yeah, well, I mean, even for myself, but for those watching or listening, can you share insight on what the course graduate position means and what it brings to the future of what you're capable of bringing to humanity?
Yeah, sure. I think one of the biggest things for me personally was just to improve on my own knowledge and have terms to put with the information that I already knew. So I graduated with a degree in kinesiology way back, 40 years ago, believe it or not, 40 plus years ago. And so I knew a lot of the terminology. I kind of knew a lot of this stuff, and then, of course, being a carnivore for 4 years, being in the Steak and Butter Gang, listening to great coaches like Raymond and Coach Alyssa, who their minds are just genius. I mean, they just have such great information. So for me, going through the course really allowed me to get the information so that I know how to communicate that to somebody else. And when they have questions, or better serve them when they're struggling as to why they're not losing weight, or why they don't have any energy, or maybe they're having difficulties with adapting to butter, or whatever the case may be. So for me, I have always wanted to help people. I love helping people. And I mean, I help people even though I've never had a coaching degree, certificate. So this just gives me an added benefit, I think, to reach out and have people reach out to me for some, for the assistance that they might need to get started in this way of life.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the coolest things that I find about the carnivore space particularly is that doctors, practitioners, coaches, wellness coaches, all of us kind of actually come together more so and are more supportive of each other than not. Whereas in another environment, often I find that we're usually more like headbutting in those instances as like, oh, well, you don't know anything because you're just a coach, or, well,
Yeah.
your doctor said blah blah blah. But in this particular space, I do find like we are more willing to be like, here, let me give you a hand up. Let's work this out together. Let's figure out how we can synergistically coexist and help people, because the whole purpose is to help people. And I
Yeah.
think that gets forgotten a lot. But in this space, we definitely, not to say it always happens, but more often than not, we seem to be more willing to shake hands and say to somebody, "Come sit at our table," and kind of do this together. And that it's one of my favorite things about being a part of the carnivore space, like not just the carnivore community worldwide, but just the carnivore space in general.
Yeah, I can tell you that community is huge. I have been to several meetups now. I've met some tremendous, amazing people in this community. And that's what it's all about, because we are kind of out in there on our own, right? And so we
Right.
kind of are the lost stepchild, and people
Right.
come at us, they block us, they argue with us. James and I have gotten on some debates with some vegans and stuff relatively, a few weeks ago and stuff, because they attack us. I mean, I've had friends block me because they
Mhm.
just can't fathom the fact that, you don't need carbs for energy, and that you can get all your energy through your fat source and your fatty acids. And, but I think that, like, for me with SPG, and probably will be with you guys too, is that you guys are like family. It's no
Yeah.
longer a community. We're like family, and we respect each other like family. And I tell you, a lot of the people that are in my community for carnivore are my family, like SBG. I mean, I love my people, and
Right.
so and no matter where we are in the world, no matter where we are in the United States, when we get together, it's like we haven't lost a minute. We just kind of pick
Yeah.
right back up from where we are. And some of the people I haven't even met yet, but I do know that when I do meet them in person, it'll be just it'd be more awesome than it is through a screen.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We we have a big push for that in this community as well. It's like, we want it to be like you came down to sit down and have dinner with your friends. Like this is how we are together. This is how we try to support each other. You've got something going on. Let's work it out. Let's figure out what it is. How can we help each other do that? And it does, most definitely. It becomes a family. It's like you can't. I can't. I cannot walk away from this community and not look at it and go, "Oh, I would be missing so much." Like
Absolutely. The fear of missing out. Yeah. I mean, that's a big thing, FOMO. And you're right. I mean, even with, I would think, what, I've been in your group now, maybe 3-4 months, maybe not even that. And
right.
it's just been amazing. I mean, and I didn't even know that you guys existed. I just happened
We're
to
silent
run
through the
into
crowd.
run into somebody in Instagram, and he says, well, I'm a part of this community. I'm like, well, what community are you talking about? And so anyway, so that's how it got started. And then he invited me in, and it's been great. I love the chats. I mean, there's so much information in there. I mean, sometimes it's
Yeah.
overwhelming, and I'm,
Yeah.
like going, oh my God, you guys, and I'm on the West Coast. So I'm like, 3 hours behind you guys, and you guys have just been rolling all morning long, so, but yeah, I mean, I think that we can't really survive in this way of eating without community. I really
Mhm.
do, that it needs all of us. We need everybody's support. And like you said, I think it's great that the doctors are willing to step outside of their box and understand what we're up against, to take those risks of stepping away from their businesses and kind of moving into the
Yeah.
carnivore circle. So, and we've been really blessed with that so far. We have Ovadia and Baker and,
Yeah.
Barry and there's tons out there. So I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, same.
Well, I think it's interesting too that like what Baker's doing, or even with Kilts and probably so many others who aren't listed, is that they're hiring coaches. It's coaches
Yes,
are the new PA in a sense,
yes.
especially in this way of living and lifestyle. And so I think that's awesome because coaches empower the individual. Doctors and from mainstream and the PA are just like, how can I manage this downward progression of a disease? So I love that we're just flipping the script upside down, giving people empowerment and proper healing, and we're saying as a whole, or for you as a now certified coach, like, hey, I'm supposed to be your temporary help. You
Yeah.
are the strength in yourself for healing. So I think that's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really amazing. And it just keeps getting better. It's like, you just having been in it 4 years, I just looked from where I started and where I am at now. It's just been really just amazing, the changes and just life in general when it comes to this community and just being a part of that. You're just you can't really get away from it, which is good. But at the same time, you have a family built in and you have people that you can reach out to that are, let's say, big influencers or doctors or whoever that wouldn't take your phone call, but they will take your phone call, or you can get connected to a coach within those doctors and so forth. And so I have a slew of people that I could pick up the phone and text or get on Instagram and they'll respond. So I think that's another thing that really helps us as a community, is that their availability and that they make themselves open to us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. One of the things I am curious about is what was maybe like one of the most unexpected benefits when you became full carnivore and fully adapted? What was something that maybe wasn't even on your radar that healed or repaired itself, or you experienced and you were like, "Wow, was not expecting that one."
Well, I think for me, it's probably going to be my back. I went through a lot of treatment and, still not procedures, but just treatments and things after I had the surgery. It took kind of a long time. And so I was still having quite a bit of pain. And, but I've noticed, and I think I mentioned this, in one of my other interviews I did too, was that I didn't even realize till about 2 years into it that I'm like, gosh, my back doesn't hurt that much. I mean, I have moments now and then, but I'm hoping that it's from carnivore. I'm able to do I train hard in the gym. I'm, 4 or 5 days or about 4 days a week. And so I just don't have, hopefully, the issues, knock on wood, that I have
Right.
anymore. And I think that could be, from carnivore, because the inflammation, has gone down in that area or whatever. So, and I think the other thing for me was just, I didn't really know how bad I felt until I became carnivore. And I
Isn't that
just don't,
such a cool
yeah,
thing?
I never feel bloated. I don't feel sick. I mean, don't get me wrong. I still, have the average, maybe cold or, things that people get. And some days I'm tired and energy and stuff but I wouldn't really contribute that to, um, not being carnivore. Being carnivore, I just say it's because I'm going to be 60 and, I'm getting older and I have, I'm tired a lot of days sometimes, so I'm just never been that kind of person that's just go, go, go all the time. I mean, when I'm busy, but I like my downtime too. But I just really like the fact that I don't feel yucky.
Yeah,
I feel really good 90% of the time.
which is pretty awesome. I mean, personal, like, you know, um, theory, I guess I would put it as personal theory. I don't think every single person that would have been in the society would have been go, 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 go all the time. Like I think we are kind of genetically, I mean, yes, obviously we're genetically different, but I think we are kind of like genetically, like there's different sections in order for the whole of a community to have survived. You know, I think there would have been those that do function better with a little bit of a more nighttime circadian awakeness, and those that would have been more of the like relaxed kind of energy. And then there would have been those that would have been running circles around everyone. I do, it's my own theory, because if everybody is absolutely 100% like insane perfection on everything, who does what?
Yeah. Well, and I think you're right, because I think the era of the internet is really what has caused that. Because if you think back to, like, I use my dad as an example. I mean, he worked in construction, and, he worked, came home, had dinner, went to sleep, really not much TV, no internet. But, we're so wired with all this internet and data and checking our phones and doing all that, that it's makes it almost impossible. Let me back up. It makes it so that people think that you need to be like that, and you need to go and, like, oh my God, if I'm not busy, something's wrong with me. Or if I'm
Right.
home in my pajamas all day long, there's nothing wrong with that. And I think that people don't tap into that enough. And I think even sometimes people feel a little taken back when I say that, like with my friends, because I have one friend that's just 100 miles an hour all the time. I don't even know how she sleeps. It's like, it's just go, go, go all the time. I'm thinking, oh my God, you're wearing me out just listening to your schedule, And so, but I do think that we're in a time, and I'm not saying that that doesn't preclude for, you going to the gym and doing your workouts and, staying that healthy, but there's time for rest. And whether that's taking a nap, going to bed early, or staying home in your pajamas all day just because it's rainy out and cold, that's perfectly fine. I mean, sure, if you're still working age and you're not retired like myself, then, you got to go to work. But again, I think that we've just really need to slow down, and I'm okay with slowing down. It doesn't bother me one bit to not be busy 100% of the time.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that a lot can slow down for improved health. For
Mhm.
example, like you talked about joint pain going away. I experienced very much the same. And shortly into carnivore, maybe 3 months, realized, wow, I can actually do functional movement again. Whereas on the standard diet, I couldn't. I was doing static movements. And I've progressed from that standard joint pain filled life of working out an hour to 90 minutes per day, trying to outwork that bad diet, to
Mhm.
now just a 30-minute high intensity workout and in better shape today on a carnivore diet and 30-minute workout approach versus 60 to 90 minutes
Yeah,
prior, and eating and garbage. So you're right. And I think basically like less is more, especially when you're doing it optimally. And I even think that translates to work. You're right. Like I'm not retired. So
yeah,
I
you're
do
too
think
young, Jay.
that I do think that like even still we're trained into modern day thinking that we have to push ourselves constantly, even with work. And that's actually not true. I think the most successful entrepreneurs or successful companies really try to have that finite work focus period. The rest of the day is kind of yours.
Well, and think about where our kids are at today and have been for the last decade or more. Is they're in every sport, every club, every team, and I speak to it from an athlete's point of view, because that's kind of where my arena is, where my thought process goes. But I mean, parents are feeding them, junk on the road, because they got tournaments and this and that. So again, when I played back in the day, it was three sports. That's it. There was no club ball. There was no, there was summer, all stars and, or, Bobby Sox and stuff like that. But there really wasn't any club teams, or, that took up all of your time. You had time to be a kid, play, go get dirty, get some immunity, whatever, playing in the dirt, kind of stuff. So I think that all of that, but I do believe that we call it the carnivore calm, right? So I truly believe that kids, young adults, old adults, whatever, can come to this community, can eat in this manner, and have that sense of calm that they don't even know they have yet. Like, again, I'll use my friend as an example. I tell her, please eat some butter. Please eat some butter. But she goes, oh my God, I hate butter. I'm like, okay. But again, I just think people don't know what they don't know. And it's our job to really help bring people along and meet them where they're at and help them come to us in their own terms. Like I know for a fact, like you just heard my story, I swiped left 3 times on Carnivore before I would ever even look at it to see what the heck it was when I heard that I could only eat meat. I thought, oh, screw that, So, yeah. So, so,
What do you mean?
and
I'm
it's,
just gonna eat steak every day.
oh yeah, me too. I love it. Matter of fact, I met a guy yesterday in the gym. We just started striking up a conversation because I heard him over talking to another gentleman in there, and they were talking. He had a glucose monitor on, so that kind of caught my attention. So after they finished talking, I kind of just started talking to the gentleman and introduced myself. And I said, hey, I heard you guys talking about, your insulin levels and this and that. And I said, have you ever tried the carnivore diet? And he said, yeah, actually I have. He goes, a couple of years ago, I was on it for like 8-9 months. He goes, man, I did great. And I said, well, why'd you stop?
Right.
And just kind of the same excuse, kind of the same reasonings that people do. That life gets in the way. They don't really, and I think it's mostly structure. He didn't really know how to kind of continue it if he got busy and so forth. But I gave him my number. I said, feel free to reach out. I've been doing this for a while. I said, be more than happy to help you, kind of get back on it. And so, those are the kind of connections that you'll make, in whatever setting that you're in, that will help bring people, to the table and help them get the information that they need.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree. I love that you actually mentioned or asked in person. And the only people I tend to get deflections or any naysayers on Carnivore tends to be online. I think a lot of the people that I've expressed this lifestyle to through my own existence and being often say like, hey, I think you're onto something. I think that's pretty cool. Now they don't practice it because I'm not saying each of them is like gone carnivore, but I think these people mostly have tried carnivore for at least a number of months. A lot of times they're able to at least admit that, hey, I can't give up these certain foods. So I think that's empowering too, to know like, hey, meat alone or animal based alone really helps, but there is that food addiction that if you don't really want to deal with it, at least acknowledge it, and that's fine. But at least people are aware instead of blindly living as I once was, thinking that, these large pizzas and extra value meals 3-4 times a day is just, that's okay. And it's not.
Oh yeah. I remember there was a little place down the road. It was an Italian place, just a little kind of pub place, had the best Italian food, and I mean, I'd be there probably once a week eating my favorite chicken pasta, whatever, blah, 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 or having football parties with football, pizza and beer and, all this stuff. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I would never eat that now. It's just not something I would put in my body.
This was funny because this year and last year were the first 2 times that I watched the Super Bowl and was like, what do you do? Like, I'm not making all the snacks and the game food and, getting everything ready. And I'm not sitting and just like picking and munching the whole time. It was very strange to experience. And I mean, and it wasn't bad, but it was just like,
it's different.
Yeah, it was definitely like an in your face of, oh, wow, this is what people are doing like
I know.
all the time.
Yeah.
And
it's
I used
like
to do that.
when you look at people going in the grocery store with their carts full of stuff and you're just like, what the heck? Like I make this awesome. So I went to a Super Bowl party and I made sure that I ate before because I wanted to make sure that I was, wouldn't be, craving or grabbing something there that I didn't like. But I make this awesome chicken buffalo dip, a recipe that I got from Dr. Wiederman. I've made it like at every party and it's a hit. I mean, It's absolutely amazing. And so, I had that and with pork rinds, or I just make it thick enough to where I could still eat it with a spoon and be perfectly fine. And then they had cheese and some cold cuts there, which were good. So, and then we had steak. We barbecued steak, and it was great. And my friends were great. The friend that I went with, or to her house, she was more than willing to accommodate my carnivore way of eating, and we all had tri-tips or whatever. So it was awesome.
Nice. Oh, do you know, speaking of tri-tip, when I first moved out here to the East Coast,
They don't have it.
I
You're like,
don't
what?
even know what it is. And I remember going to the butcher even, and this was before carnivore, like I was carnivore. And I went to the butcher and I was like, okay, I'd really like a tri-tip. Even the butcher looked at me like I had 4 heads and 2 antlers coming out, and I was like, it's where, like, the 3 grains meet," and he was just looking at me, and I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah, it's crazy.
So
Yeah.
my parents had a barbecue restaurant in, let's see, we had one in Ojai, in Ventura, and we had one in, I think it was Los Angeles, or I think the 3rd one was in Los Angeles. And it was, tri-tip with, of course, at the time, garlic bread and, like, all the different, like, fixings, like 3-bean salad and macaroni salad and all of those things. And so for me to come out here and know that people had no idea what tri-tip was, like, mind-blowing.
And back then too, tri-tip was really cheap. It's gotten really expensive
Yeah.
now, but man, you could buy, 5 tri-tips for like $20. I mean, they were the
Right.
cheapest cut of meat you could get, But yeah, so yeah, it is kind of funny because I've traveled quite a bit around the US, and especially when you start getting back in the southern states, they have no clue what a tri-tip is. They go, "What?"
No. Yeah. It's so funny to me. So we used to ship it in fact, I had my dad cook all of that for my wedding in
Nice.
2019. So open, mesquite grill, fire pit. Oh, it
Perfect.
was awesome. Of course, everybody there was like, "This is so good." I'm like, "You guys don't even know what you've been missing your whole life."
That's right. There's something good about the West Coast. Maybe that might be the only thing is that we can get tri-tip at
I
this point.
I found it interesting as well that picanha isn't sold everywhere in the US.
Right.
I didn't
Yeah.
know that. I mean, because I've mostly been around Texas, Georgia, Florida, so picanha's always been around. But I was at a meetup, last weekend or 2 weekends ago, and picanha was available, and people were like, "I've never had this." I was like, "Whoa!" People who are from like Nebraska, I didn't know that was a thing.
And that's one of the
Interesting.
best cut of meats you can get too. Oh my gosh, I love it. That's what's great about the Brazilian steakhouses is because they have picanha all the time, Just cut
Right.
it right off cut it right on to my plate, please.
Exactly. And that's actually where it was. It was a Brazilian steakhouse with picanha as an option, and that's where people were discussing how it was their first time to try it. I'm like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and I'm pretty lucky being in the area of California that I'm at. I can get just about anything. I can get raw dairy, raw milk, meat. We have lots of butchers out here. You can, get bone marrow. You can get a lot of stuff out here. So I'm pretty fortunate that way.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Because I think there's a lot of people that um, don't necessarily understand the variety that actually does exist in carnivore because it might not be as prevalent where they live. That is a big aspect for people, I think, also kind of like coming in the community and talking, being like, "Well, what did you have today?" And it sounds like stupid because, yes, most of us, when we answer that question, "What do you eat every day?" I mean, yes, most of us eat pretty much the same thing every day,
Yeah.
but there are things like what we're talking about that people might be like, "Oh, what is that? I didn't even know I could have that," or "I didn't know that this was, a particular cut that I could even get," or a portion of the animal that they might learn how to cook a certain way that they didn't know. So definitely talk about how you guys cook all your food, people. It's important.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I just bought me a tasty air fryer, which I haven't used yet because I've just,
Oh, fine.
because I have another one, but I typically barbecue because I can cook a steak so fast and then have my eggs ready. And it's just easy for me. So I haven't really wanted to branch out yet and try the air fryer, but I do want to try it with some other carnivore type recipes and things like that. But, uh, yeah, I just think that, like I eat sashimi a lot.
Mm.
I'll even take some clams, canned clams if I'm like not, I've already had two, say, major meals and I want just a smaller meal. And I'll have a little bit of sour cream in there with some salt and pepper or white pepper. I don't use black pepper just because of the oxalates, but so there's always, chicken, organic chicken, once in a while. Pork, of course, bacon. I do bacon quite a bit. I don't really do pork chops or that kind of pork just because I feel it's kind of inflammatory for me. So I'm pretty much a ribeye, New York, and eggs girl every single day for the most part. Bacon. So it just depends on what I'm feeling. Oh, and hamburger. I eat a lot of hamburger. So, and actually, there's been kind of a big craze in our community with ground lamb. So I don't know if many people have
Huh.
tried ground lamb, but it's actually really pretty good. And lamb, we are finding out, is really healing. So those people that have a lot of autoimmune disorders or have a lot of healing to do, lion diet with a lot of lamb really can help them tremendously. Um, Also, we talk about beef liver. I know for the people out there that are saying, "Ooh, liver, I can't stand it." Just take it, chop it up in little pieces, put it in ice cube trays for it's frozen. So they're small enough that you can swallow them like a pill. And you can take 1 to 2 ounces a week and you get all the B vitamins that you could possibly want. And it actually acts like a little bit of an energy boost. If you haven't tried it, it's pretty awesome. So there's all kinds of things that you can do in the carnivore community if you're creative enough.
Right. And I think that's the part that people get a little stuck sometimes. Like, oh, it's ground beef, steak, or eggs. That's it. It's ground beef, steak, or eggs. And I'm like, I get it because I get into that loop really easy myself too. But there really is so much more
Yeah.
variety than I think we give notion to
Yeah, and
enough.
I think too, Selena, I'd like to say to that because I go between this because I know, like in our community here, we have a lot of dogma going on sometimes, and I get the fact that when we're talking pure carnivore, it's basically beef, bacon, butter, eggs, no dairy, no coffee, all that stuff, right? But for me, what brought me along when I first started carnivore was the ability to make those kind of carnivore different foods that maybe had some dairy in it and so forth to help me break up the boredom. And now
Mm.
I find that I don't need those things very much. But do I eat them? Absolutely. And will I
Right.
have some carbs now and then? Once in a great while, I might have some berries or I might have a little white rice if I was to go out and have sashimi. But it's not all the time. And it's also something that doesn't trigger my body. So I know for me that what I can do and what I can't do. I mean, I went on a cruise in September and, I had some things that weren't carnivore. We have members in our community that travel overseas a lot. And a lot of times they can't always eat carnivore. But I think the biggest problem I see is people are not willing to give it long enough time to work.
Absolutely.
And then they start
Absolutely.
saying, well, oh, my numbers look horrible because I'm on carnivore. And, my doctor said this, or they're saying that fat causes diabetes and, all this crazy stuff. Right. And so for me, I just think that the amount of time that I've spent on carnivore has really allowed me to listen to my body and understand what my body can handle and what it can't handle. And that was a big, huge thing for me coming from SBG was because that's what Raymond teaches is that you really need to be able to listen to your body because it tells you exactly what it needs if you'll listen, right?
Mhm.
But people jump out too fast and they think it doesn't work. So it's not that the diet doesn't work, it's just that they give up on it too soon, and that's really where the problems come in because they don't give it enough time.
One of one of the things that I find that happens along the same parameters where they just give up is because a lot of people are not as educated in how the body actually functions. They are going off of the generalization of what they're told or raised on. And I get it because, it's, well, my doctor said this or my grandmother said this. And it's like, okay, I'm not trying to disrespect any of these people, but in the same shot, have you researched it yourself? Why is your body going through this? What is cholesterol? What is, but like, if you can't answer these questions for yourself, but you're concerned about them, you need to learn about them. Like, you really need to take on that responsibility as a self-cared person. Like, it's not the doctor's responsibility to tell you to know everything about your body. As odd as a statement that is, it's
Yeah.
not their responsibility. Their responsibility is to stop or mitigate as best as possible the problem you came in with.
Mhm.
Doesn't mean they're gonna cure it. It doesn't mean they're gonna heal it. It means, "Oh, my neck hurts. Let's make the pain stop. Oh, my stomach's going through this. Let's do XYZ." They're not typically in the notion of curing or healing. Not because they don't want to, it's just that's not how the system is set up or designed. We have to take that upon ourselves.
Correct. And the doctors were not given nutrition classes. I think it's like 1 hour in medical school, right? And even nutrition as we know it now, I had a minor in nutrition. Well, that's blown out the window. None of that we learned is really true anymore.
Right.
So again, and I think too that we're not saying, I want to be clear when I say this. We're not saying that heart disease doesn't exist. That's not what we're saying. But what we are
Exactly.
saying is that when you have had a history of heart issues and maybe you've had several heart attacks, maybe you've had surgeries, then you're in a whole different bracket already. And yes, are going to need more from your doctors than somebody that has no heart problems at all. I have several people that I know right now that are on statins that have never, ever, ever had a heart problem. But then I
Right.
also know people that their heart disease may have started, but it was from all of the stuff that they did before all
Mm.
those years, let's say 40 years or whatever. And then all of a sudden now they have heart issues. So I think the misunderstanding comes when they can't understand that what you're eating right here and now, if you were to start eating beef, bacon, butter, eggs, is not going to give you heart disease. But what happened before would be contributed to if you're having any issues. But you could still
Mhm.
heal and you could still progress and help your heart heal. And with what we're doing with the proper metabolic way of eating. So I think people just get so frightful and so scared of that they, like you
Yeah.
said, they just don't have the information and they're not educated on it enough to understand that butter and butter and meat does not cause heart disease, but carbs and sugar sure does. And there isn't really any one study out there that proves that statins prevents heart disease.
No, in fact, quite a lot of the data that is unknowingly happening
Yeah,
without it being a directive study specifically just towards that, but a lot of the data that seems to be coming about with those things is like it's rather the opposite. It's really not helping or stopping anything. I know a lot of the work that Dr. Encore is fortunate, if you want to call it that, to be a part of in his hospital. These people who are on these statins, these people who are on vegetarian diets and high carb diets are some of the highest rates of heart disease and disorders and strokes. And it's like, well, this doesn't really correlate with what we've been told for the last 50 years. This,
absolutely.
1 and 1 is not equaling 2.
It's
Exactly.
it's very much like growing. You're born, and I hope to adopt soon, as you know, Selena. But
I know, I'm so
it's
excited
like
for
being
you.
born, and you're thinking that's your parent your entire life, and then suddenly at a certain age, for these
Mm,
kids, if they're told maybe a little bit too late, hey, you're adopted, I'm not really your blood parent, but I still love you that way. Like that's the way it feels for so many people, I think, when they learn like food
yeah,
isn't their friend. The foods that we were born
right.
into. Yeah, and I think so many people are just attached to it. Like you said earlier, Melanie, it takes swiping right or left, however it is, twice before you swipe right. Um, and I'm so pumped that like the energy that I bring to my household is very annoying, apparently. To my family, I mean, back home in Houston, where they live, and don't talk about diet. That's all on the phone. How about we just talk about something else? I'll just call you back. That kind of response. But that energy also is that swipe left. And then I was sharing this in our chat with TCCW Village, but my own twin brother finally called me, actually texted me, and then we talked. And he's like, "Look, I have these friends who have the same energy and passion about keto as you do about carnivore." And so that passion mattered. It was amazing. I was like, yes.
Yeah, that's
Like he's
great.
not
Yeah.
carnivore, but it's
Yeah.
like waking up to that these foods aren't good for us, the ones that we're born
It's the
into.
gateway.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer that even a high fat keto, if you know Robert Sykes at all, Keto Savage, I mean,
Mhm.
it's very much a very healthy for them. And sometimes, people just might not be able to be carnivore. And I think as a community, we have to be okay with that. We want to bring as many people along as we can. And if keto is where they are at, then by all means, let's help them with that, and eventually maybe they will, or they'll just stay there. But if they're curing their um, ailments, and if things are looking up, then I think that that's positive.
I agree. And I love too, like I asked my brother though, just to stay on that topic for a quick moment. It's been now 2.5 weeks. But at the 2 week mark, I did ask, like, hey, how's it going? By the way, are you still doing it? He's like, yes. And what are the benefits? And he's sharing a lot of the quick benefits that you experienced and so many do, which is quick water loss weight. But he also says like it's just easier to walk around. And I think those are so powerful, just to be like, wow, like walking around's easy. He likes to go for jogs, and I'm sure his jogs are much easier on the joints and the muscle. The overall workload is probably reduced. I don't even know how much weight, but a lot of that, 10 to 15 pounds is going to come off in those first 2 weeks. So I just hope these positive benefits keep showing up in new ways that, as you alluded to, Selena, hopefully it's just a gateway into carnivore.
Yeah.
We all hope to get in there.
Yeah, I mean, and I know a lot of people come, and I have to be, totally honest, because everybody knows that I talk to. I came to carnivore because I wanted to lose weight. I was so heavy for me. And I say this, to the whole internet world, I was well over 200 pounds. I know people can't believe that when they see me and whatever, but I'm telling you, I'd never in my life been that heavy. I was miserable. I just was really just grabbing for something, just throw it in my lap so it landed there. But
Yeah.
I lost 42 pounds within the first, say 8 months or so of carnivore, and I've been able to keep that off. Plus I've even lost some more through my weight training and stuff like that through the last, through these 4 years. So I get it when people come here and they want to lose weight, but they have a lot of healing to do. And we really need to, and what we try to do is help them understand that the healing comes first, and then the weight loss will come later. And I think so many people get frustrated that they don't want to wait for that. And they don't really see the benefits yet. They don't feel maybe the benefits. So they think that it's not working for them. But I really encourage people to just stick with it. I mean, at least 90 days. It takes 90 days to change anything, 21 days, as they say. So if you're doing at least 90 days, I think there's a good possibility that you could be successful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's sort of my staple line as well. It's like, okay, 30 days, you're definitely going to notice a difference. 60 days, you're probably going to start to get a pretty decent reduction in food noise. 90 days, you're going to look back and go, holy crap, that's what I felt like all the time. This
Yeah.
is so much better. Like you can't help but see it in 90 days. Like it's
Yeah,
impossible not to.
and you can't help talk about it. I remember as a young carnivore, I mean, everybody thought I was crazy. First of all, oh my God, you're going to die of a heart attack. Oh my
Oh,
God, you're
yeah.
eating all that fat and butter. And oh my God. And, still to this day, what's your cholesterol levels? What's your cholesterol levels? And I go, they're great. Actually, they're even better than they were last year and the year before. My levels are within normal, within their ratio and all this. My fasting insulin is like 4.5. My glucose is like 90 something. My triglycerides are like, in the, I think, what is it? The 58th or 7, they're in the low range, everything is good, and the LDL is high, but again, we know that that's going to be high. Oh my God, we said the bad word, LDL, the bad. Wait, where's Bart K? There is no bad cholesterol. There's no good or bad. It's all one molecule.
I love him for that.
Yeah, and I've really learned a lot from you guys, especially in the chat and Everett, he's really helped me a lot, just listening to him, and really helping in the course, of course, about how it's a carrier and what that means for the body, and that it allows us to, if you didn't have higher HDL, then you're at another risk of having, problems. And yet you need to have that carrier to get the cholesterol to every cell in your body because you need it. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, I'm so grateful for this course. I'm so grateful for you guys, for this community that I'm a part of. And I just so blessed that to see where this goes, to just really how this community takes off.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I know we definitely appreciate that. And we're just as excited to see where it takes off too.
Yeah, exactly.
It was like it started with a spark and it's like, okay, well, this is where we're at right now. Gosh, I can't even imagine where we're going to be in another year. Because as of right now, TCCW as an actual entity is only about 8 months old. So we're brand new, baby, and we're lighting fires. We're going for it.
Nice. I love it. Yeah. And this is what we need. We need communities just like this, and hopefully in the community, you guys will start doing meetups around the country, because I can tell you from being a part of many of them, I will plug SBG. We do have a meetup coming up in Montana over the 4th of July weekend. It's going to be bigger and better than last year. You can get your tickets online at sbg.meetup. So I would hope that you guys would all want to join us. It's going to be incredible. So, and that we make it so that it is more of a social event versus having, we do have one day where we have some speaker panels and, speakers like that.
Yeah.
But we want it to be the interaction. We want it to be like we were in a video, just being able to give hugs and, really be in community with people. And so that's kind of how it's designed, which I think a lot of people in the community really like, because that's what they want to be able to do, right? Is talk and reach out and connect.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, we are not against the support of groups, because the reality is we cannot make it in the world if we're all not trying to help each other. And it's like, it doesn't matter if you're with Steak and Butter Gal, or you're with the Kilt Gang, or you're with Sean Baker's, Rivero group, or whatever. The reality is we are all here attempting to help accomplish the same thing. We do it together or not at all,
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree.
So
Yeah, and I love that you had mentioned, Melanie, the your goal of creating a in-person meetup in Arizona as well.
Yeah.
Like that's something you wanted to talk to as well.
Yeah, sure. I would definitely thank you for saying that. I'm actually going to be there for about 10 days coming up in March. So I set the date for, I believe it's Saturday, March 14th. I'm going to try to do it at the Brazilian Steakhouse there in Mesa, which would be kind of a central meeting point for those people coming around from, say, Queen Creek, Mesa, Gilbert, Tempe, Scottsdale, Phoenix. We can include all them. So if they want to reach out to me on Instagram, if they want to send me a message, if they're interested, I'm actually going to contact the restaurant today just to see kind of how they want us to put it together, whether or not we can, the size of group and when they need to know the number and so forth. But yeah, I'm kind of love how Dr. Lisa does it. You know, she tries to plan a meetup just about every town that she goes to. So I've kind of gotten it from her a little bit, and I figured, why not? I'm going to be there for a week, helping my brother out dog sitting. So I'm thinking, well,
Right.
I might as well have a meetup.
No, that sounds awesome. I might actually contact my aunt and be like, "Hey, I know you've been interested and curious. You might want to go over here." She lives in Mesa, so
Oh, okay,
like
yeah,
like it's
absolutely,
really
yeah,
not that far of a drive.
yeah, yeah,
You can go
absolutely,
do that.
yeah. So, yeah, so I'm going to put out another story or another reel once I get all the information, and then just have people kind of reach out to me so I can kind of get a number so we know what we're looking at.
Most definitely. That is absolutely awesome. Well, Melanie, I think this is probably a good point where we can go ahead and sign off for today. I want to thank you for coming on and sharing all of your lovely information and data and, your opinions, as this is what it's all about for sure, is educating, including and experiencing all of this. And to everyone who's been watching, thank you guys so much for hopping in. And to all of those that are going to watch it on the recorded, we appreciate you too. So I'm going to go ahead and sign us off. And until next time, guys.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.